Since most people usually stop watching around halfway through my videos, I want you to leave this video with a message right now, and if there's anything you get from it, it's that if you're a sci-fi fan and you own a PSVR2, or if you're a space fan and you own a PSVR2, buy Red Matter 2. It's the easiest and best decision you'll ever make in your life, and I'm making it here for you. Just buy this game. This game is possibly the best looking and feeling PSVR2 game, for various reasons. This blew my expectations out of the water, and although it isn't perfect, it has a couple of problems, it genuinely blew me away for what I thought was just going to be another Quest port. But it is so much more than that, and these devs have achieved some actual wizardry with what they got going on here. Whoa.
Okay, first things
Holy
first.
Shit. I have the biggest smile on my face right now, I feel like an idiot. Okay. And even if you're not a puzzle fan, which a lot of this game includes puzzles, you can look up guides online since it's a Quest game and follow those and just take in the amazing visuals, the art direction and the atmosphere. And that segues me perfectly into our first point, about how this game does not feel like a Quest 2 game. I have no idea what this game looks like on Quest 2 or how they got it running on a Quest 2, because Jesus Christ, some of these environments, I have no words. I genuinely have no words. They are jaw-dropping, and they blew me away completely. Ridiculous. Oh my god.
Verified. Initiating docking maneuver.
Holy shit. How is this 120 FPS? How? I don't get it. I do not get it.
It is.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
The ship is still broadcasting the distress signal.
Now that's just... Oh... I don't know how this is possible to do this at 120 Hz or FPS on the PSVR2, but it's nuts. The visuals are out of this world, no pun intended, and I think it is a top contender for the best looking PSVR2 game. Everything is super clean and it runs so well, but I'll get into that a little bit later on. But first I've got to say that the scale, even though it is absolutely nuts, does show a little too much too early. What I mean by this is that the first half of the game, the opening hours, show you some incredible vistas. Honestly, it'll take your breath away. Even if you've seen some great sights in VR, this is just on another level. Some of the scale of the visuals on these maps, even though you can't go everywhere in them, I have no words for them at all. I'm speechless.
Okay. What on earth was he up to down here?
Well, that's glass at least, but that's horrific. Oh, look at this. Oh, that is terrifying. But after the halfway point, you're funneled into narrower corridors as you explore scientific labs and space stations, and you lose the grand feel. And I'm not sure if that's a budget issue, whether they ran out of money to kind of make massive scale environments, but most of the eye candy from this campaign comes in its opening first 2 hours. But my god, do those opening first 2 hours have some incredible sights. That is ridiculous. That's nuts. What the fuck? Oh my god. That's all I've got to say. The art style feels inspired though, and the world feels lived in, and that carries on throughout the entire campaign. But it definitely shows up best in the starting levels, because their scale just took me away to a completely different universe, honestly. Amazing. But what makes it one of the best feeling PSVR2 games is its frame rate. This is running at 120 Hz, no reprojection, which I think is one of the only games to do that on PSVR2. I think Walking Dead runs at 90, and that is no reprojection and feels amazing, but this is on a whole nother level. No games on PSVR2 really made me feel like I was playing, you know, Boneworks or Bone Lab with how smooth everything felt and the way everything interacted, and I think that's down to reprojection. While Horizon Call of the Mountain does technically look impressive, if you start to swerve your head left and right or turn with the analog stick, you're going to see that ghosting and it's going to take you out of it a little bit. But with Red Matter 2, none of that. Absolutely none of that. This is a technical achievement on a massive level. And it's this that makes it feel like one of the best PSVR2 games, because you really feel like you're there because of this frame rate boost. And this footage does not do it justice. It really doesn't. In there, it feels so smooth, and I cannot push that enough to you. The world design and the art direction is so like inspired. It's really cool. It feels real. Well, here more than the other one feels very real. Another thing is the physics-based interactions. Now this whole system is basically that everything is interactable. You have these grippy hands and you can pick up items with them, and there are just so many examples of basically every object in the environment being interactable and you being able to pick it up and throw it around and do whatever you want with it. A highlight for me was paper and the way they simulated that.
1080p video on YouTube is not going to do justice to how good this game looks. I'm just going to accept that. Oh, is that flexes? You are joking me that flexes. And same with the paper, of course, same. And it even has different, like, oh my, and it stays. It stays because it's paper. Game of the year.
But yeah, in terms of physics, it's pretty great. In terms of gameplay, you've got pretty basic loops of movement and jetpacking around very, very slowly, but these work fine. I did run into a couple of instances where the game didn't let me move forward at certain points and I had to kind of sidestep my way around, but this only occurred for about 2 minutes at the start of the game and about 30 seconds at the end of the game. There's nothing in the rest of the runtime that didn't let me walk in a straight line forward, which is weird. Maybe there's some geometry on the floor stopping me from doing that, but just bear that in mind. In the opening level, I did run into some issues with getting stuck on the floor, although I am playing an early build, so I can't comment on whether this will be fixed when it comes out for everyone else. Anyway, the rest of the gameplay covers puzzle solving, and if this isn't your thing, you can go look up guides online and just take in the story and the visuals. And it also involves some very light stealth and combat. The stealth itself is fine. The AI have these sort of laser scanners that you can very easily see, and it telegraphs where they're looking at whatever given moment and lets you navigate around them.
So we go. I've done this on Little Nightmares. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so now we go behind here. Oh fuck.
There is a bit of combat as well, and it's fairly basic. You just have a pistol later on down the line, and there are a couple of instances where you have to use it against enemies, but it's nothing to write home about. However, the detail of everything that you have, all of the tools at your disposal, your scanners, your guns, and your controllers in general, are actually kind of amazing. Not only the detail of these, but the clarity. They are the best looking hands I've seen in VR so far, I think. And the use of the PSVR2 features for the controllers, like the capacitive touch, really shows here. If your thumb is on the sticks or the buttons, it shows up. If you're pushing the grip buttons, it shows up there as well. Everything translates to what you're doing in the real world into the game in terms of where your hands are placed on the controllers, and that's just really cool. I love details like that.
Oh, it does capacitive things on either button. That is cool. That's the first time I've seen that, I think. Because obviously they mimic like the Quest style control. I mean, I guess these are the PSVR2 style controllers, aren't they? Because they have the orb. But like it mimics wherever my thumb is at. And my finger. That's so cool.
Not only that, but the game uses the head haptics and controller haptics to great effect as well. A highlight of that for me was in one of the train car sections where you're traveling across a planet, and every time you go past one of the checkpoints, it rumbles your head. That was just mind-blowing when I realized it was doing that for the first time.
Whoa.
What do you know about this place?
Oh, the haptics go off when you pass those.
Dr. Lysenko
Like this comes
devoted his
past,
entire life to the N1
and
project. He built the
haptics.
space himself.
I also have got to assume that they're using Phobiated Rendering, and I think I might have noticed this on Saturn with the asteroid belts, where I was scanning my eyes up and down very fast, and I could just slightly tell that it was, you know, making that area more detailed when I was looking at it. It's probably a lot easier to see on the footage here, because you can kind of tell what's in focus and what's not, whereas in focus is where I was looking, so I couldn't notice any of the blurriness on any other objects. The game looks incredibly sharp. It's one of the sharpest on the console for sure. And that foveated rendering is definitely what enables them to go 120 Hz, no reprojection, which still blows my mind even after I finished the game and played through it all, and even gone back in for seconds. Now finally, let's talk about the thing that bothers me the least, and that's the story. And the story is surprisingly pretty damn good.
Sasha?
What the fuck?
Is that you?
Not only with the way it keeps you engaged on this quest across the solar system to find a missing person, but it also incorporates a couple of horror elements and a lot of abstract visuals that links to the plot that really keep you guessing at what's really at play and what's going on and what will come next.
Oh, this is creepy as fuck. Oh no, not again. Whoa.
I don't really want to spoil any of the story because I think it is worth experiencing, to be honest, but it really wasn't the main draw, and it wasn't my main takeaway at the end of thinking, wow, that was an amazing story or anything, but it did serve its purpose and I was engaged throughout. So there you have it, Red Matter 2, those are my impressions and my little review of it after playing through the whole game. It took me about 4 hours-ish, give or take maybe 20 minutes, and I reckon that'll be average for most people. If not, you can go check other playthroughs because it's been out on Quest 2 for a while, and that's my biggest takeaway from this review, to be honest, is that I have no idea how this ran on Quest. I don't know how that chipset didn't explode, because this game is nuts looking, and on PSVR 2, it genuinely is one of the best feeling and looking PSVR 2 games to date. I gave that award to Walkabout Minigolf like last week. I'm now passing it along to Red Matter 2. Because this game is just reminding me why I love VR so much. It gives me the same feeling as Boneworks and Bone Lab, just with the physics interactions and how clean everything looks and the liminal space kind of vibe that the areas give off. This game is not one to be missed if you love sci-fi or space and own a PSVR 2. Trust me, even the visuals alone, you're gonna love it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.